How we doing, folks? This is Mike. I'm joined by Mike today. This is our college football preview for the week one slate. Bets, bets, bets. Mike, why not Western Michigan money line at Wisconsin tomorrow night, Friday night, 9 p.m. Upset alert. You heard it, folks. Yes, we're starting our first betting episode off with Western Michigan 12-1 against Wisconsin.
Not sure if you can hear the sirens. I can hear them. There's an upset alert. Western Michigan is going to be coming out firing. Hayden Wolf is going to be a household name by Saturday morning. If you don't know who that is, he is a seventh-year starting quarterback for Western Michigan. He is on his sixth offensive coordinator. I did a little research. The Detroit News says he's got a bit of a politician vibe to him. He's tall and handsome. I couldn't get any information on what kind of quarterback he is besides that, but I'm sold.
I'm sold. And one other quote he had for this offense this year, extremely electric. Huh, that's all I need to hear. And I don't have stats for this either, Mike. What I do know is Wisconsin is a team that's notorious for losing the week one game where they bring in a smaller school to be their easy game. I couldn't tell you the exact game that's happened in the past. I know it has. And this happens every week one. There's one team that wins a game like this. The only thing that's a little bit weird about it is a Friday night. But then I thought about it. I was like, I like that more. I don't want Wisconsin at the early afternoon slate with that crowd to be rocking. I want a weird Friday night under the lights game with an electric offense led by seventh year Hayden fucking Wolf.
I'm fired up. College football is here. It's just it seems that there's always one or two of these huge upsets, and we already know who it is.
We know. We're telling you. This is why we led the episode with this. Hail now, folks. Hail now.
I really just feel bad for Wisconsin. I'd love to find out. I'm sure they'll post it somewhere after they lose, how much money they spent to bring in Western Michigan, just for Western Michigan to absolutely wax them in their own home.
Wow.
It's going to be great. Plus 1,200. I'm all over it. Give me the spread. Give me the money line. I'm sure they have a stud running back that's probably going to have 3 touchdowns and 200 yards on the ground.
Sure.
And I'm glad we're on the good side of this one.
Me too. And, if you have smaller raisins than me and Mike, fine. Take the plus 23.5. Do it. It's free money. They're also plus 650 to win the MAC this year. I like them to win the MAC this year. And who knows? Maybe we'll have a few episodes where we talk about Western Michigan. But I'm glad we did to start this episode. We got a lot more coming.
Yeah, I've got the Hayden Wolf jersey already added to my cart on Fanatics. I'm ready to pull the trigger as soon as they're up 35-10 after the third quarter. And that won't even be a jinx because there's just literally no way that they lose this game.
Could Hayden Wolf be our very first podcast guest?
I think Hayden Wolf is going to really appreciate that we noticed him and that we are fans. I mean, apparently he wants to be a politician. I live in DC.
Guy.
I've got no connections, but I'll bring him to DC and he'll meet some politicians. Might even go to the White House for this win.
Oh, let it be known, Hayden Wolf's our guy, and Hayden Wolf will be on this podcast. Whether it's after this upset win, that'd be awesome, or whether it's after he wins the Heisman in his 8th year as QB at Western Michigan. All right, let's move on. So me and Mike already hit the Florida game against Miami in the past episode. We'll touch on it again. There's a theme coming out of week one, and it's the Dogs.
Is that what you're doing?
Give me a.
Am I doing it? Are you?
No, you do it now.
Dogs.
Yeah, dog. Yeah, the dogs. All right. My next dog, you might not actually like this dog. And this dog has a lot of the same juice and energy and feel to a game as Florida does with Miami visiting the Swamp in the afternoon on Saturday. This team should not be a dog. No way. This team needs a win week one. They have underperformed week one in recent years. Their coach knows that. He's talked about how they need to win this game. This team has been influenced by the new college football playoff, to which they have a tougher opponent week one, and they need to win these games now if it's going to count later. This team that they're playing, it's a brand new head coach. It's a team that has a lot of question marks around it. It's a team that I personally don't even think that's talented. Mike, Saturday, plus 126, the same odds as Florida. I got the Notre Dame Fighting Irish beating Texas A&M at Kyle Field. I don't know why they're dogs.
Wow.
Marcus Freeman's in his third year. They have a brand new head coach. They have 3 explosive running backs. They have a very well-known quarterback that makes good decisions, just like their old one did in Sam Hartman. Riley Leonard, the man. I've been a fan since day one. Mike, we talked about this game. We were looking over the slate, and my eyes shot up. Maybe I'm a little bit biased. I grew up a Notre Dame fan, but I just don't see how they lose this game. It isn't Kyle. It's under the lights, but I think they're the better football team. I think they'll be the more ready football team. I wouldn't be surprised if they won by 20.
I love your passion. I love how we've come out to start. We are fired up. This is what we do. We talk sports. We bet on sports. All over Western Michigan with you, all over UF with you. I can't get all over Notre Dame with you. You said it. Marcus Freeman's in his third year. It might be his last year. I don't like Notre Dame. I don't like how they play. I don't like the way their schedule is set up. They are in a no-win scenario where if they don't make the playoff, it's an atrocity. And I think they walk into Kyle, and it might not even be close. I think Texas A&M with a new head coach comes out absolutely firing. That stadium is rocking. Notre Dame can't compete with the SEC. Texas A&M takes care of business. Lay the 3 points. Take the money line if you're a little afraid, even at the bad value. Texas A&M takes care of Notre Dame. The fact that you're so excited about it, I think makes me need to.
Oh my God! Do you not see the similarities though to the Florida game? I mean, not only that it's the same odds, I would have a really hard time betting on Texas A&M to cover 3 points in this game. What are they showing me preseason, anything leading up to this game to be like, yeah, I love this team. And this has got to be Notre Dame's best team under Marcus Freeman.
I think Texas A&M has nothing to lose. New head coach who they got to be fired up about because they paid Jimbo Fisher more than CeeDee Lamb.
That's fair.
And he was
fair.
Awful. He brought in an insane amount of recruits every year, didn't do shit with it. They're certainly not favorites to win the SEC. Sure, they're ranked, and this is a big game week one, but it's a very low stakes game for them. They can have a mediocre season and be okay. I still think they have a mediocre season, but I think that they show up for their head coach and they come out firing and they take care of business. It's not a sexy game. It's not a pretty game. Probably not a high scoring game. It's going to be a fun game to watch, though, with all my money.
I can't wait. It'll be great. I think that's the ABC night game. That'll be a great one to end a good Saturday. And my big bet, personally, faded from Mike in one regard. I got the Dogs, Florida, and Notre Dame in a parlay. It's a little above 4-1 odds. Just get through the Florida game against Miami, and then I can root for Notre Dame at night. That would be a perfect Saturday for me. So that's my big bet. I don't know which one I like more. I love both. I've been debating all day. I'm so excited about taking 2 dogs that I love. Not to even mention Western Michigan.
I love that we're going against each other here. I love that we come together and go against each other. I love that one of us starts the season off super hot with this Texas A&M Notre Dame game. The other doesn't. We're clearly both on the same page about Florida. I mean, I'm hammering them.
Oh my God.
Love Florida. I've been seeing the posts all week. That place is going to be rocking. If I could be
People,
there, I would be
oh
there.
my God. The first game of the season is always it has such a different energy to it. People, forget just what the Swamp really is and what it can really do to you, especially for a team that plays 45 minutes from their school campus. Okay? For week one. I'm excited. This is the same script and what happened with Utah 2 years ago. And the game last year doesn't count. That was in Utah. But like that team was supposed to win by a touchdown, right? And the only reason we won that game was that crowd under the lights.
100%.
I can't wait. It'll be
Yeah.
fun.
My favorite prop bet on that game, Eugene Wilson at plus 125 anytime touchdown. I think it's possibly worth throwing on him to score 2 touchdowns. Not sure what the odds are. He's a baller. He's a sleeper for having the most receiving yards in the SEC. He already had a connection with Graham Mertz from last year. Everyone else is young on that offense aside from Montreal Johnson. Eugene Wilson is a freak athlete. He's a baller. He's going to get fed. He's going to score a touchdown. Is there anything you like? Is there something you'd like to see out of the team? A bet you like? What's the one thing you're most excited for when you're watching the Florida Gators?
The defense. I'm really excited about this defense. There's a lot of talent on that defensive line. The corners are good. And I think they're going to show a lot against this game with Miami. I think this could be like a 21-10 game where Graham Mertz is smart. They're running the ball well. They're making good decisions. And the defense in that crowd stop them in their tracks. Right. I could see it's like one of those games where like Miami scores on the first drive. They had a good script to start, and then it's blankets the rest of the game. So I'm excited about the defense for this game and this year.
Yeah, I'll say we've had a pretty bad defense the last 2 years, so it's hard to imagine the defense could possibly get any worse. We brought in a few good transfers. We brought in a top defensive end, one of the top recruits. I'm excited too. Billy Napier needs to show some progression on that defense, and I think he will. And I think we come out rocking, and that's going to be a fun game to watch.
We need that game. Notre Dame needs the Texas A&M game because of their schedule, because of how it lines up for the playoff. Florida needs this game because of the gauntlet that's ahead of them, because of the hot seat Billy Napier's on. And that's really the reason that I love those two combined. They need it. They need it.
They do.
I like betting on desperate teams. I'm getting the itch. I can't wait. I miss football so much.
It's so good to be back. Week 0
so good. Oh my God, at work today, we were just throwing prop bets at each other, parlays. My boss was giving the story about how he missed a 16-legger week 4 of 2021 NFL season. Just guys being dudes. We're in peak guy form season now, ladies and gents, or just gents.
It's a bad time to be a girlfriend right now.
Yeah.
I don't have one, so I don't have to worry about that. But
nope. Not us. That's why we have a podcast. Here we are. Oh God. Oh, hey, did you see we got our first hater on TikTok? That was cool.
Oh my God, how awesome was that?
That was, dude, the guy loves Pat McAfee. Don't say anything bad about Pat McAfee again. This dude gave us a lecture about how we're going to be more successful if we're just nice and positive all the time instead of saying bad things about people. And I could not disagree more.
Absurd. I mean, what kind of podcast do you listen to where they're just nice guys that like, no, that doesn't exist. That's not.
No.
I won't say I truly do dislike Pat McAfee. I didn't just bring that up to make a funny reel to throw on TikTok. I fully believe in my hatred towards Pat McAfee.
Yeah.
I hope that at some point he sees me shitting on him and really calls me out, and he has full rights to do that. I fucked up by tagging the McAfee on the TikTok, and other random people were pretty quick to call me out on that. My friends are going to hear this and just totally not be surprised that I tagged the wrong Pat McAfee, because that's totally something to do.
Not just one, you tagged 2 wrong Pat McAfees, and it startled you. It startled me too, because I logged into her account. I'm like, oh my God, Pat saw it. The floodgates are open. Open the marketing engine. Here we go. And then I click the profile, and he has 14 followers. And his videos were about Minecraft. The dude just fucks with Pat McAfee.
Oh my god,
Classic. We're getting better. We're getting better,
better.
Today, hey, I didn't. Oh, go ahead.
I'll say we did get another hater on the call line. Shout out to everyone who's been texting.
Oh yeah.
That's
Yeah.
awesome. But
That's been good.
I don't know if you saw it on our Instagram story, but random guy, I immediately text Jaws and I'm like, dude, do you know this number? Because I don't. And he didn't know the number either.
Yeah.
And the guy just goes, why does one mic look 40 and one look 13? And that was just great.
No, we did our research. We have no idea. It wasn't even a DM. They texted the call number, which I've never used Google Voice before, but it just like shows up in broad daylight. We put it on our Instagram story. Follow our socials. Follow the YouTube, whatever the fuck. We're not going to be the guys that are like, do it every time, but man, we got to throw some marketing out there. And we'll get more guys like that come in and roast us. That was good. Hey, I didn't last episode share my futures, which I don't want to do the full thing, but I do have some cool parlays for who's making the playoff and who's winning the conferences.
Give it to me.
Okay, so 3 teams to make the playoff, and I think these are 3 super reasonable teams to make the playoff. One of them's a dog at plus 180. The other one's minus 170 and then minus 220. The minus 220 is Texas. I think Texas is on the easier side as far as schedules go in the SEC. And I think a common trend you'll see out of my picks for the season and the futures is I trust a reliable quarterback, kind of like the Bo Nixes of the world, the Joe Burrows, who have been there, and Quinn Ewers is that. I also love Steve Sarkisian. He's really grown into his boots at that job in Texas. I think he's there to stay. And I think he's a contender, and I know we have Kirby at Georgia, to really fill the Nick Saban shoes for college football. I mean, it's really, it's cool how it lines up. You know, former defensive coordinator for Nick Saban, former offensive coordinator for Nick Saban. They happen to probably be the 2 best college football teams, at least from my view. You can make your Ohio State and Oregon arguments. So I love Texas to make the playoff. I'm not asking them to win the SEC because I actually think Georgia is going to still do that. And that purely comes down to in Atlanta. And then the minus 170 is Notre Dame, right? They have the easy schedule. This game against A&M will mean a lot, but it's really hard to imagine a scenario in which Notre Dame does make playoff. They would have to lose to one of their worser opponents, which they've done in the past. But I like Notre Dame. And then my plus 180 is Clemson because someone's got to win the ACC. And here's my theory. FSU already lost week 1. We know that Florida is going to beat Miami week 1. Those were the other 2 favorites. They start off 0-1. Plus 180 seems like good value right now. It is my one underdog, but I feel good about a Clemson team making this playoff, especially from what we've seen so far out of the ACC. Mike, that parlay is 523. You're getting pretty much 5-1 odds with that. What are your thoughts?
I like that.
I figured you would.
I really like Texas. I think it's hard to imagine them not getting into the playoffs. So as much as they're minus 220 or whatever, they're going to get in. I think Notre Dame is somewhat of a safe bet. I think it's kind of a boring bet because of what you noted too. I feel like there's not much they don't have a ton of opportunity because they have a ton of good games. So if they lose 2 of the big games, then there's no room for error against the bad teams. So if they lose one of these bad games, they're in trouble. But yeah, I think they probably make it and they probably take care of business just based on the ease of their schedule. I had Clemson in mind as well. I do like Clemson. I don't love them, but I do like them to win the ACC, like you said. Someone has to do it, and I think Dabo Sweeney is a good enough coach to get them to do it. And yeah,
I think it's a reasonable parlay. I really like taking teams that, make a lot of sense with not a lot of crazy value or are a huge favorite. And I feel like those 3 teams fit that mold. I think you'll like this one a little bit more. My 4 conference winners, ACC, Big 12, Big 10, SEC. ACC, Clemson. I already explained there. SEC, Georgia. Maybe Texas proves me wrong, which I'll have kind of hedges. And Ohio State, I think that team's loaded. And I love Will Howard. And I'll get to another piece of the Will Howard story here in a sec. And then here's my curveball. Oklahoma State to win the Big 12, because I don't know who's going to win the Big 12. Everyone's coming out saying Utah, but it's the chalk pick, and they're not like the runaway favorite. Utah's a great program, but I'm scared about any team going to a new conference this year, just in general. And then the next favorite's Kansas State, and I just like I don't feel great betting about Kansas State winning the Big 12. This is a great team though for Kansas State, and I actually love their quarterback, Avery Johnson, 25-1 to win the Heisman. That's my Heisman pick. He was going to beat out Will Howard, Ohio State's quarterback now, for the starting job at Kansas State. Will Howard's a dog. I've never seen Avery Johnson play. I think he stepped in a couple times last season. But story, 25-1 odds, sure, I'm in. That's my Heisman pick. We'll see how it plays out.
Yeah, I actually do remember watching him now that you bring up the name. He played in their bowl game, and
Oh, you're so right.
he looked awesome.
He popped off.
Is freak athlete, fast guy. I think there's questions around the arm strength and the accuracy, which is something that you can work on with a young quarterback.
Especially in the Big 12. There's points.
And I think he's going to score a lot of points. I think if that team does well, everything revolves around him. I like that pick.
Okay, do you want to ride it with me? Because we both like Jackson Dart, but I feel like that could be our higher odds one.
Yeah, I'm on that. Consider me on it right after this episode.
Yeah, Oklahoma State, Mike Gundy, like he's just always had a good program, and I don't know who's coming out of there. They're like plus 840, right? That's great odds in itself. I'm putting my eggs in that basket. Guess what that is? $10 to win 2.6 grand. So great value there, and I just think it makes a decent amount of sense.
Oklahoma State is in that parlay?
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, I don't hate it.
4 conference winners.
Yeah.
No, good value.
I like that.
Okay, cool.
I'm gonna throw it. I don't like it that much. I'm gonna let you have that one.
It sounds good. I hit the big ones. Let's run through what else we like this week, and then I think you have one more big game to touch at the end. But let's see. Thursday game, Boulder, CU versus North Dakota State. CU is 9.5 point favorite. I've been going back and forth on this game. I like North Dakota State's program. It just does feel like Deion's going to have a little bit of good momentum to start the season, then it'll fall off a cliff. That's how I see it. So I do think CU wins this game, and I think they cover. I think they win by more than 10.
I think North Dakota State wins the game. I hate Colorado. They had like the most exciting month and a half ever last year, and no one seems to be that hyped about him this year. Travis Hunter's really cool in the video game, but not sure that they really are good in real life. So I'm going to pass on that one.
Don't have to bet it. Another game we're passing on this week, Georgia and Clemson. We talked about it. I just don't want to bet it. I think the line is minus 13.5 for Georgia at Samford. It's a day game though. It's a noon kickoff, right? It's not under the lights, which I feel like that game usually is. I just don't like it. I'm staying away.
Yeah, two big teams. I hate Georgia. I really don't like Clemson that much. Georgia will probably wipe the floor with them, but not really excited.
Maybe it's close.
And yeah, I don't feel like touching it either.
What game are we touching? Good question. Thanks for asking.
I will be boots on the ground for the UVA versus Richmond game.
Yes. The game everyone's talking about.
There's been a lot of talk here in Charlottesville. Actually went out to a bar 2 nights ago. I'm on a sport trip with 2 of my buddies. So we finish work, we go out, we grab dinner. We don't pay for it because shout out the corporate card, which is pretty cool. And we're talking to these guys next to us, just shooting the shop. And we're like, yeah, you guys come to the football game on Saturday. And they're like, what football game? Not sure Virginia's going to have a great show out at that game.
Yeah. UVA, they're bad, right?
They're traditionally not a great football team. They're projected to once again be really bad. I think I supported 3 or 4 different UVA games last year, and I threw on them for all of them just for the vibes, and they lost all of them.
Mhm.
So I'm gonna flip the script this year, and I'm gonna take Richmond at plus 20.5 and Richmond on the money line.
Wow, 20.5.
Yeah, great value for us. I know nothing about Richmond, but they're only a few hours away, so as long as they've heard about the football game, they might have a
Yeah,
better career. And I'll be here, so I'd like to have something on the game, and
yeah.
it is painful. So give me
UVA
Rich.
is it's a loser school. My mom went to Virginia Tech. That's the cool school of the state. That makes total sense. They're like the Duke vibe, right? Like football. Yeah, not a big deal to them. I like that. Boots on the ground. Your very own Jersey Mike will be at the game supporting Richmond in a UVA polo. Can't wait. Cool. Penn State at Western, or not Western, West Virginia. Um, I like Penn State minus 8.5. This isn't the game they're gonna lose. They don't lose these games. They usually steamroll these games actually, and then lose to Ohio State. So that fits the mold. I'm taking them.
Love it. I'm on that as well. I love their quarterback. I love their program. I agree. They'll blow a game later in the season, but it
Yep.
won't be this one. Um, like we
I
talked about either last episode or the previous episode, we'll be taking Rutgers
yeah
spread.
yeah
When their
every
dogs take their
every
money
week
every single game. So
minus 36.5 against Delaware.
lay it out.
Oh my God, I'm all over it.
Delaware's an FCS school. Like,
Rutgers. Can't wait.
go Scarlet Knights.
Oh, Scarlet Knights. How far away were you from Rutgers growing up?
30 minutes.
Really? That's nothing.
Yeah, never went because never got excited about Rutgers.
It's Rutgers.
But I got a few buddies that went there, and you
Yeah.
know, it's the hometown school. So
Okay.
go.
Okay. Go Rutgers. Sure. Minus 36.5. I like Texas minus 31 at home against Colorado State. Because for the past 3 years, I've done so well betting against Colorado State. I don't know anything about their football team this year, but I'm
I
gonna
know
keep
one
doing
thing
that.
actually about the Colorado State football team.
Oh
I
yeah.
saw a clip actually. You might have seen it with their starting quarterback and their quote unquote star receiver.
Hmm.
They actually both were offered money from Colorado State via NIL to like not transfer or whatever. And they both turned the money down and then
Oh
stayed at
God.
Colorado. They said they don't like what NIL has turned into, that they're grateful for their scholarship, and that they'll make enough money when they win a national championship, so they don't need the money now.
Whoa! Oh, okay. Wow.
Yeah, I honestly hate
Do
it.
you buy that?
No, I think they're idiots for
That's
taking
weird.
out.
Yeah, dude,
And
at Colorado State? What?
I don't think that proves anything besides the fact that they're dumb and they're not winning a national championship, so they missed out on a lot of money there.
We might be missing something big here. What's Colorado State's odds to win the national championship? Whoa. Okay. Well, I'm still taking Texas because it's week 1 and, there's usually steamrolls from the very good teams. I think
Love
Ohio
it.
State has another one of those games where they're like 48.5. I'll lay the points there. Cool. Mike, there's one more big game we want to hit.
Yeah. Before we hit that, I have one more underdog that I like. We discussed it briefly, but I think Pittsburgh is possibly the worst team in the ACC, and the ACC is bad. MAC-tion is fun. I like the MAC. Those teams are exciting. They come out firing. They score points. Kent State is at Pittsburgh. Plus 24.5 is the spread. Plus 1,200 on the money line. Give me Kent State.
All right. I like it. Kent State has been a very popular pick for people starting their dynasty in college football 25. So I like it. I'm riding that.
Yeah.
One last bet I had was Furman. They're an FCS team. They're plus 42.5 at Ole Miss. Shout out my buddy Mac Hendricks. His dad, Clay Hendricks, is the head coach there. And it's going to be Clay Hendricks versus Lane Kiffin. And I got Clay Hendricks coming out on top. Maybe not on top. I'm taking the spread, 42.5 against Ole Miss. I'm also weary on Ole Miss this season. I did not want to include them in my playoff parlay, but Okay, one last game, and I want you to start with your thoughts.
Okay. So we've got USC playing. Who are they playing? I didn't even write it down.
LSU in
LSU. Right.
Vegas on Sunday night. This is kind of like the LSU FSU game the past 2 years we've seen on the Sunday night of week one. But it's in Vegas Sunday night. USC LSU.
Yeah. Based on the fact that I couldn't even remember who they were playing, I think it's pretty obvious. I love USC. I love Lincoln Riley. I love the fact that whoever their quarterback is just sat behind Caleb Williams and probably learned a lot from him if he was paying any kind of attention. They're ranked number 23. They're joining the Big Ten. Their schedule is kind of weak. They play Penn State, but they don't play Ohio State. They get Penn State at home. They have to go at Michigan like week 2 or 3. I'll go even further to say I love USC to make the playoff. We discussed that. We discussed after last episode my playoff prediction. I honestly didn't take a lot of upsets. I sort of put that together based on what I thought probably would happen, which was really boring, and what usually is gonna what is gonna happen preseason doesn't. So I need to get behind a few teams as underdogs, and the one team that stands out to me after doing some research is the USC Trojans. I think they come out week 1, Sunday night, absolutely firing. They have the easier travel. LSU's all cocky, and I'm super low on LSU. It's going to be a great game. I really like the over. I think there's a lot of points to be scored in this game, and all over USC is dogs.
Over under is 64.5. The line is LSU -4.5 at the neutral site game. And I started right where you were. I looked at it. I saw turf field, Vegas, travel. I don't love Nussmeier. I've never seen him snap the football before, but I don't love him. So I leaned that way first too. And then I was like, no, it's LSU. They're good. Brian Kelly, I mean, this is his 3rd year. I love coaches' 3rd years under a college football program. That's their recruits, their guys. He lost last year, week 1, and it did a big pull for that team. That team very easily could have competed for the SEC. I just got to assume, I'm not heavily involved with these rosters, but LSU is a more talented roster. We haven't really heard a lot from USC. I mean, Caleb Williams obviously left, but they'll be talented, and I like Lincoln Riley. And yeah, the turf, high points, I expect that. But I'm not doing it. 4.5, I don't care. I mean, LSU could easily win this game by 3 touchdowns just because they're a better team. We don't really know, but I'll put my eggs in the basket.
Fair. I don't hate the rationale. I'm going to parlay the over with the USC money line. Big 3rd-year head coach guy out of nowhere. Lincoln Riley's 3rd year at USC, so bring it on, dude.
Do you like the money line or the spread?
I'm going to parlay the money line of USC with the over. I thought about making it my first teaser of the season, but then I realized there's really no point because the score is going to be like 55-50. So why do I need to tease that over down?
Right. Okay, cool. Well, the money line and the over is plus 354.
Oh, I mean, I might do a paycheck on that.
Okay. Don't do that.
As we're talking, I do
You're
want
gonna bet against the. I don't understand how you could be so about Texas A&M beating Notre Dame, but then say LSU won't beat USC.
I like USC. I hate LSU, and I hate Notre Dame, and hate A&M less.
Okay, so this is how it goes, folks. It's if you're gonna tail Mike, it's the teams that he hates. If you're gonna tail me, it's the teams that I hate. You'll have to choose which dumbass you like more if you're going to tell us. Awesome. Cool. Actually, my buddy Junie, he asked, what's more likely to happen? Eagles win the NFC or Lando passes Max in World Driver Championship points? Ladies and gentlemen, F1 talk on the Why Not of Us podcast. Why not F1? Why not Lando Norris?
Fantastic question. Give me Lando Norris. I mean, none of you guys were expecting us to talk about F1, but we are big fans.
We are.
The whole Red Bull winning every single race is getting super boring, and Lando's a very likable guy. I think the math works out that if he wins every race and Max finishes second every race, and he gets a few like fastest laps, he wins.
Yeah.
You know, Max is going to crash out at least one or two races. Give me Lando. I think he's still the underdog, but that's exciting.
I'm taking the Eagles to win the NFC. But Junie, it might be actually a really good question because I'm now going to go look, and I'll edit this, that I want to see the odds for each. So I'm in FanDuel. He's plus 250.
Wow.
Already?
I'd love to hop on that, though.
It just still seems like a huge long shot. He's down 75 points, and Max doesn't seem like one to really mess up in the clutch.
No, I just think McLaren's car is way better.
Yeah. The Eagles are definitely not plus 250 to win the NFC.
No, but Cowboys are, so give me the Cowboys.
They're definitely not. The Cowboys are plus 250 to win the NFC. No, the Eagles are plus 550. So, Junie, when you asked me that question, I actually assumed that the obvious answer would be Eagles there. And apparently, according to Vegas, it's not. It's Lando. So, cool. We'll end on that. All right, that's the pod. I hope you like the bets. I hope you all win some money. Mike, why not us? Why can't we be the best gamblers on the planet week 1 of the college football slate?
Why not us? Let's start off hot. Let's win some games. We're going to get into this cadence of Tuesday, Thursday episodes. Tuesday will be our recap of the previous week. So on Tuesday, you'll find out how much money we won. And then on Thursday, we'll load up with more bets and get ready for the next week.
Amen. Can't wait. Why not us, Mike?
Why not us?
All right. Peace.